Good evening and welcome to the Press Club with me, Kendall Burton and Earl Bousquet, a program where we review the big stories making news every week, locally, regionally, internationally. And as usual, we have the newspapers of the day. The Voice newspaper, the headline, Alexander quits, acting commissioner of police calls time on 30-year career. The Star newspaper, UK High Court judge on Walid Jafali diplomatic appointment, spurious artifice, a sham. And the other story, students say they feel trapped, reference to the Lamberts, or the remaining Lamberts students. The Mirror newspaper, 5 more election candidates presented. UWP endorsed 3 candidates and SLP presents 2. That's the Mirror newspaper. Among those, what sticks out in your mind, Mr. Bousquet?
Neither of the above, but we can look at the I look at with interest the response to and coverage of the decision by the judge in London in the latest episode of the continuing Jafali saga, whether you want to call it a soap opera or a reality TV show. But the government, the judge made a judgment, the government has responded, the government has indicated it does not agree with the judge's interpretation and insists that the judge, the court does not have a role in deciding who will be St. Lucia's ambassador, and its interpretation is that the court, through the judge, has, if the judge's ruling stands, it will create precisely the precedent that St. Lucia as a government did not want to create, which is...
Yeah, but was the ruling or the judge's statement challenging his appointment as ambassador? Because up until this case, they had not issued or stood any opposition to his appointment. I think the issue, what I'm getting from it, is that the timing, and I think the judge is suggesting, as the ex-wife and her lawyers are suggesting, that it was a well-timed appointment designed to prevent him or prevent her from getting a portion of his
Yes,
wealth.
but where does his jurisdiction start and where does it end? Can the court interfere in a sovereign state's appointment of someone? And having appointed someone, can a court instruct the person appointed by a state or instruct that state on whether and when to raise diplomatic immunity? These are legal, diplomatic and juridical issues which I don't think we can deal with because the matter is going to be appealed. And if we know how appeals go within the British and local constitutional and court arrangement, it's going to take time. But quite apart from that, I think it all, from a press standpoint, it all depends on what we choose to highlight. What is the issue here? The critics, the main critics, their issue is that St. Lucia's name is being wrapped up in a scandal. The court case hasn't started. It's involved in a legal process over which neither the government of St. Lucia nor the people of St. Lucia have any say. So we have to wait. We have no choice but to wait until the end of the court process. But whether Mr. Jafali's ex-wife gets money or not, whether he dies before she gets a cent or not, I think the big issue here, on the one hand, people are asking who got what. On the other hand, people are asking, why didn't we know? On the other hand, there's another question in terms of when the announcement was made vis-a-vis, as you pointed out, its relationship to the timing, that's the word, the timing of the appointment. What the government of St. Lucia is saying is that under Article 31, and the government hasn't said so officially. But and people choose, the critics choose what they would like to grab onto, because like I said, this issue has unfortunately been politicized, and the lead criticism is coming from the political opposition rather than constructive comment which looks at the issue. For example, announcement of the ambassador. Why wasn't it announced? It is not a norm for governments to announce appointments.
But
what is the international maritime?
They did announce the appointment of his daughter. What was the difference there?
The difference there, I don't know what the difference was, but it's not a norm. Do we know who is our ambassador to all of the other international organizations that we become automatic members of? What is our role at the IMO? What have we benefited from the IMO? Why are we a member of the IMO? Is there any meeting to be attended? Are there things for us to... What is the IMO? I hear nobody saying, what is the IMO and what is its importance to St. Lucia? What has happened there? And this is the difference between the Jufali case and all other cases having to do with non-nationals holding diplomatic passports, as was the case in St. Kitts and Nevis. In this particular case, Jufali has not broken the law. He has not broken any law. He has not committed any criminal act. He has done nothing.
But as you have pointed out, the issue is not about whether he broke any laws. The questions that the people are asking, some of which you alluded to in your statement a while ago, are also detailed in the Voice editorial for today.
Even if all these
transparency,
editorial, even if all these questions are answered today, what difference will it make?
It would make a difference.
What difference? Tell me one difference.
For one thing,
knowing
we have gone into this thing
answers,
from the time the Jufali affair became known. The government has said or spoken about the promises by Jufali and his businesses to invest in St. Lucia for diabetic research. Do we have any concrete proof that anything is happening in that regard?
Okay, I can answer that.
Yeah.
The Governor General's throne speech last year revealed that initial work is being done towards the establishment of a diabetic center. Subsequent to that, it was revealed that that diabetic center is going to be financed by Mr. Jufali. Subsequent to that, it was revealed that one of his daughters is going to create a full-length major film for St. Lucia to be able to pursue as, you know, in terms of promoting the need for support for St. Lucia as the leading diabetic capital in the world, so to speak. I hear nobody talking about that. My question would be, if and when this diabetic center is delivered, will it be justified in terms of the so-called embarrassment that St. Lucia allegedly went through, in a situation where the holder of the diplomatic passport has not broken any law and has not violated his diplomatic immunity?
But you see, but you keep saying the same thing. Let me reference a paragraph in today's Star, where the judge, the Star, and it's quoting the judge. It says, "We come now to the meat of the matter, at any rate, as it relates to St. Lucia," observed Justice Hayden. On the 3rd of December 2015, the St. Lucia government in a press release announced that Wali Jafari had pledged significant resources toward the expansion of the local health sector, which will impact positively on the health needs of St. Lucians, particularly in the area of diabetic research. While this may establish a basis for Jafari as a trade or investment envoy, it does not establish a basis for an ambassadorial appointment.
Well, that is an opinion. That's an opinion.
An opinion seems to be
Listen,
seemingly held by a lot of people.
Listen, Gilbert Shagori was appointed as St. Lucia's ambassador to UNESCO. When did we get to know that? No announcement was made. But Gilbert Shagori, who is everything like Walid Jufali, is a Lebanese of Nigerian origin, a billionaire, who has a similar post like Jufali, because this is how governments operate. When you become a member of the United Nations,
you keep falling back to that argument that no announcement was made, no announcement was necessary. The fact is, this has taken on legs, international legs, and caused some embarrassment to the country. People are asking questions. Isn't it incumbent on the government, to come forward and shed some light and give some explanation rather than just remaining entirely silent? And
The
only press
government
releases
has explained that it cannot.
Issued.
It cannot, because the issue is in court and it is subject to a judicial review. What can the government say that will prevent it from influencing?
No, but it's
what
not.
is
It's not a
happening
matter
in
of
London?
saying what will influence what's happening in London, but shedding light on the relationship with Jafali, what happened, what are the agreements, what are the arrangements, answering the questions that people have that are not going to affect any court case.
But these questions have been answered.
As you said quite
the guy
rightly,
promised a diabetic hospital and a film. What more people want to add? Listen, there are elements in the media.
so why make him the IMO representative to St. Lucia, not as the judge pointed out, or the opposition has pointed out, given some other position, whether it is a citizenship by investment?
Because it is not within the judge's role. It is not the judge's role to decide who St. Lucia appoints to what office.
No, it's not, and nobody's
It's not
arguing
the-
or suggesting that it is.
Let me explain one thing. How did Dr. Jafali...
With you for a break.
For a break?
Yeah, let's take the break. The
Time running too fast.
Very
man.
fast. We take the break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation on the Jafali affair and some of the other stories making the news.